because there's so many things he's done throughout his career. And if you haven't investigated who he is and what he does, I encourage you to do that. So let's just start with the basics. Let's start, since this is a finance class. This is where we get together every day and we talk about economic elevation, which you and I both know connects to culture and all kinds of other things. Um, let's start with the thing. One of the things that I remember that you kind of drilled into that I thought was really important is you were known for many years of kind of being what I'm always might call kind of like almost like not quite the anti-rapper because you're pro-rapper, but like anti-toxic culture in the sense of you drove a 98 Honda Accord for a long time and you didn't just drive that car, you actually uh, made that into like a almost like a little bit like a status symbol. Like, like you created swag around your Accord. In fact, you had a song about it. Let's start there. Tell me, first of all, do you still got the car?
Yes, yes. The 1998 Honda Accord. It lasted over 21 years until 2019, and then at that point, I did a European tour. And when I came back from Europe, uh, the car just it took its last breath. It couldn't go anymore. And I had been gone for almost a month in Europe. When I came back, I was like, all right, did this long enough. But I turned right around and bought another Honda Accord. So that was 2019. I bought a 2018 Honda Accord at the time, and I'm still driving that to this day, man. So I um
Okay.
I like that you said I turned it into a status symbol because I come up in New Orleans, Dr. Boyce, and in New Orleans, I grew up in the era of Cash Money Records and Birdman, dubbing himself, nicknaming himself the number one stunner, right? So a stunner is a person who shows off their material wealth in the form of jewelry, in the form of cars, primarily jewelry and cars. And I never thought that I would be a rapper, but when I became a rapper, I automatically had the mindset that I don't want our people to feel like their wealth is tied into the jewelry that they wear around their neck and on their wrist, as well as the car that they're hopping out of. I want them to know that their wealth is truly in their mind and in their heart. So I wanted to be the antithesis of what I grew up, being around in terms of the stunt culture. So I was like, while all rappers are waiting to go and blow a big check on a car that they're probably, living above their means and paying too much for just so they can feel important in the eyes of their fans, I wanted to be the person who is like, I'm going to intentionally drive what y'all might dub as a hoopty. I'm going to drive that intentionally, but I'm also going to be the dude who is driving the hoopty, but on BET. Driving the hoopty, but just got off a 30 city tour. Driving the hoopty, but viral all over the internet. So now this I create this moment where you have to think, because you're like, wait, the car would imply that he's not successful based on what we've been taught in the Black community, but the accolades imply that he is very successful. So what's up here? And now I have your attention, and that's a teachable moment. And that's all I wanted, was a teachable moment to be able to show our people and our culture that we shouldn't tie our sense of self-worth or our wealth into something like jewelry and cars.
Well, it's interesting, right? When you talk about uh, hip hop, one of the things about hip hop, and I know you know this because you were a school teacher, and that's one of the things that drove you to become a professional artist because you wanted to influence the youth, which I respect. Hip hop is heavily built on symbolism and really the manipulation and the programming of the subconscious mind. And my wife, who's a therapist, when I asked her, I said, "So what are the three things that impact the subconscious mind the most?" She said, "Trauma, repetition, and symbolism." And so when I think about the trauma, there's a lot of examples that come to mind. One immediate one is you talk about how you've had friends that have gotten murdered, and that's very traumatic. You talked about the time when you were on the basketball court and the guy pulled out the gun on you and stuff like that, right? That's very traumatic. The repetition.